What's up, YouTube? Eric here, Mr. Fired Up Wealth. I'm gonna bring the heat today with a video that you have to absolutely see. This is gonna show you my entire taxable brokerage in terms of dollar amount, and I'm gonna show you every single stock within the cloud SaaS bucket of that. So I've got about 90 positions. I'm gonna show you 30 of those stock positions today. And these are just focused on the SaaS cloud stocks that I cover on the channel. And the reason for that, when you actually look under the hood in cloud and SaaS, there's a lot of megatrends within that. And I want to go granular to show you what those megatrends are within cloud and SaaS and the stocks that I own to kind of ride those waves. So I'm going to give you 30 total stock picks. I'm going to show you my total portfolio balance. I'm going to show you the percentage of that balance in terms of how much is in that cloud SaaS bucket and every single pick in there. You're going to want to see this one, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys, make yourself comfortable. Grab yourself a soda, your drink of choice, because you're going to want to watch this entire video, and I'm going to be as concise as I can. But I promise you it's going to be worth your time. Every single second of this video is going to be worth your time. And there's a lot of nuggets of information because I'm going to go through basically 30 stocks and talk about them from a high level and give you some numbers towards the end of the video as well. So what we're going to do again, guys, I'm going to break down, I'll give you my entire portfolio balance, my taxable brokerage. I've got other assets. This is just my taxable brokerage for financial independence, retire early. Now I've got a percentage of that entire portfolio in cloud SaaS. So that bucket, I'm going to break down this entire bucket today, cover 30 different stocks, show you how much money I have in that bucket and the percentage versus the total portfolio. You're going to want to see it. So we're going to start with workflows and BPM, business process management. You think of cloud SaaS, it's a very large and complex universe with lots of different megatrends underneath the surface. And that's what I'm going to do is break down all the different stocks I own under this cloud SaaS umbrella and break it into these different trends. And it really is helpful for me when I do this. And it's probably going to be really helpful for you to understand why I might own the stocks that I own. And it might even give you ideas for your own portfolio. So when you think of workflows and business process management, ServiceNow, I've been in this stock for a long time. You know, Frank Slootman, who's now the CEO of Snowflake, used to be the CEO of ServiceNow, and now the former SAP CEO, McDermott, is the CEO at ServiceNow. It's a great company. It's always expensive. It's high quality. It has a lot of demand, especially from institutional investors. It's going to continue to do well with this whole digital transformation. And it's really important when you think of workflows and BPM. Appian's another one. Now, Appian is part of the Phaser series. It's kind of been one of those hyper growth, kind of almost, you know, like a stonk where it rides high and crashes. It's an expensive, high risk, speculative type stock. And I only own house shares in this, okay? So it's not very much money and it's house shares. I did take some profits when it ran really hard, but I do like this one. You think of low code automation and workflows. This actually is an interesting company as a spec. CRM, customer relationship management. So you just had a new IPO come out here in the last couple of days called Freshworks. Now that's a competitor. I don't own Freshworks. I think the stock probably needs to come down a little bit more. I do like that company. I own Salesforce CRM. That's my huckleberry in that CRM space. And I really like the fact that they acquired Slack and that they're going to integrate into that business, because when you look at the previous acquisitions they've done, you think of Tableau, you think of MuleSoft. Every time the street was like, oh, he paid too much money, that was a mistake. Mark Benioff knows what he's doing, and he's proven to me as an investor, I've been invested in this for a while, that he knows what he's doing, that the leadership knows what they're doing. They also have Salesforce Ventures. They actually invest in a lot of these cloud SaaS companies before they come public. So they know what they're doing, guys, and this is going to be a powerful acquisition for them longer term. Salesforce CRM. So HCM is human capital management. Now, I owned Workday for a long time. If you watch my previous videos, and if you're new to the channel, guys, I have videos that broke down my portfolio before this. I have maybe 3 or 4 of those videos. Subscribe to the channel, click the little bell to get notifications, go to the channel and check out some of those old playlists. There's new playlists and old playlists, but check out some of those older portfolio videos, because you'll see something like Workday and then notice that I don't own Workday anymore. I did sell Workday for a profit and I pivoted some of my money. So if you're not in, you know, the Discord, Patreon community, you probably don't have insight into a lot of what's in my portfolio and a lot of the moves I've made over the last several months. I have made several moves with my portfolio. I've positioned more to growth actually over the last several months when there was opportunity earlier this year with some of the sell-offs. And I've actually gotten rid of a lot of my dividend income type stocks, and I've pivoted more into growth. So there are a lot of changes. And if you really want to see what I'm doing in real time with my portfolio buys and sells, check out Patreon, Discord. You can go to Fired Up Wealth Patreon, just Google it, you'll find it. So what I own in HCM now, I don't have any Workday. I have Paycom and I have Velocity. Now I've had both of these for a while. One of them's up like 150%, one's up like 85%. I'm probably going to sell both of these for profits soon. I've got some price targets in mind, and I'm probably going to be trimming these and repositioning the capital. I still like these companies longer term, but I do think that some of that growth is starting to slow down in these, and I think that my money might be served better elsewhere. Finance and accounting, this is again a large, complex universe. Blackline, when you think of financial close, I have a video on the channel about Blackline. I think this is a good company. It's got a lot of great partnerships. They're partnering with SAP, so they've got SAP sales channels actually selling Blackline. I think this is a good long-term investment. Financial close is a problem, and they really are best of breed. When you look at the stocks on your screen, ServiceNow is best of breed. Salesforce, best of breed. Now, Workday would be best of breed for HCM, which I did own, but Paycom and Velocity are really the best kind of SMB type HCM companies that had more growth. Blackline, best of breed for financial close. I'm trying to buy best of breed. Now, Blend Labs, you've never seen this one. I've never talked about this one, at least on YouTube. I've talked about it in Discord, Patreon, and I do own this. I've been buying it. I don't have a full position. I'm continuing to dollar cost average. This is it's a really interesting company. It's part SaaS, part title, real estate title. And they made a recent acquisition. So what these guys do on the SaaS side, though, is they help kind of dinosaur legacy. You think of banks, like old school banks, and try to help them with that digital transformation and basically allow their processes to be digitized and for customers to have a digital experience. So I think that Blend Labs, it's spec, but I think there's a lot of opportunity in that, and I am building a position in that currently. For communications, you've heard me talk about Twilio many times, got videos on the channel, check it out. I like that one a lot. Zoom Video, work from home stocks have been beaten down. The sentiment's really bad. But as a long-term investor, I do think Zoom Video will still do very well for many years. And then Olo is the last one, communication. So this is really, what I like about Olo the most is the Rails. So they work with all the big names like DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, and they can actually incorporate into like something like Toast and allow those Rails so that you can order online with anything. So if you think of Toast can actually do online ordering and delivery, but you're gonna have to download an app for every single restaurant. Olo allows you to just use DoorDash and have connectivity through those Olo Rails with all the restaurants that you love under one app. And that's why I really like Olo. It's a really expensive stock. I have a video on the channel, bought it at the IPO. It's come back a lot, guys, and that could be an opportunity, especially if it goes any lower. I'm still up on it. I'm green maybe 10%, but it has come down a lot. Definitely check out Olo. So moving on, we got Edge Cloud and CDNs. So of course, Cloudflare, this was a Discord buy below $40. Most of us bought around $35 just last summer, 2020, and the stock ran to $137 from there. So we've all done really well, 200% plus gains on this stock. And it's actually a large position in my portfolio. It's grown into a large position. Now I do own Fastly as well. Those are house shares. I did make about a 600% return on Fastly. I actually sold Fastly shares last August, and I used the money, the profit, to buy Cloudflare, okay? So I positioned out of Fastly into Cloudflare. I do own 100 house shares of Fastly. I've also written cash covered calls on it a couple different times and made some good money. So Fastly has been a really profitable stock for me. Of course, if you bought it, chasing it at $100 and you hold it now, it's one that you hate and maybe you sold it for a loss. A lot of these sometimes it's just timing, and Fastly really was kind of a hyped up stock and the fundamentals just kind of collapsed from it. And Cloudflare has kind of completely changed their business. So when you think of Cloudflare, it's much more than CDNs. And I actually put it in the cybersecurity bucket as well. But Cloudflare is that best of breed. If I'm going to buy one stock between Cloudflare and Fastly, it's going to be Cloudflare, guys. So CrowdStrike, of course, endpoint security, ton of different videos in the channel about CrowdStrike. Take a look at the channel. I have Cloudflare in here again. I'm only counting the dollar amount once, but I do have it in different buckets sometimes because this really does cover both, edge cloud and CDNs and cybersecurity. So all three of those. Zscaler. If you like these cloud and cybersecurity stocks, I have a top 10 cloud stocks series, and there's a whole playlist, and it covers all these stocks. It goes into detail. It's like an hour and a half video that covers 10 stocks. CrowdStrike, deep dive analysis, Cloudflare, Zscaler, and several other picks that you're going to see on here. Adka is another one. So, right here, you've got the four horsemen is what we call it in Fired Up Wealth. You've got CrowdStrike, Cloudflare, Zscaler, and Adka. This is a big part of my portfolio, and I'm really excited about all these companies longer term. Adka recently acquired Auth0. All four of these are best of breed in the categories they do. And again, if you want more analysis on these, check out that playlist. You will not be disappointed. Telos is another one that I have here under cybersecurity. Though this is more of a lesser known company. I've talked about it maybe once, maybe twice on the YouTube channel. It's a smaller company. It's like a mini version of Palantir, and I hate comparing them directly, but there's not a lot of companies that really, if you want to make a comparison to Telos, there's not a lot of companies. It's very unique. It's a very miniature version of a Palantir, but it's not on the same level as Palantir at all. But check out Telos. That is an interesting company. It's not a high flyer growth stock, but it is a quality smaller company that I think can do well. We bought that in Discord. We're up, and it's done pretty well. It has pulled back some, but it's done pretty well. Now, this is a new buy, and I did do a video on this. This was a bonus pick on the AI series. This is know before. This is cybersecurity awareness training. So when you think of the four horsemen, maybe there'll be a fifth. Maybe training will be added to that multi-headed monster, right? So know before I've been buying it. Actually, I started buying a little bit around 25. It's pulled back. In fact, this morning it pulled back to around $21. I would love to see this stock under $20. That's where I would love to add. So I am dollar cost averaging. I still have lots of room to add, and I'm actually hoping it goes a little bit lower because I'd love to see it under $20. Moving on, robotic process automation. I just did a video on UiPath. This stock is still holding up to that $52 level. It seems like it's holding that $50 to $52 range. A lot of people think it's going to go to $35. If you're interested in more analysis on the stock, guys, I have several videos on the channel. Go take a look. DevOps. Now, this is big, and Datadog could have also been in cybersecurity because they're doing cybersecurity. But I have it here, also cybersecurity. But Datadog for DevOps and incident management, very, very important, very good company. This was also a Fired Up Wealth Discord buy last year. PagerDuty, this is one that a lot of people don't give it much love. And I don't own a huge position on it. I am up nicely on the position I own. I know that ARK ETFs, they like to buy PagerDuty as well. And it's a good stock. It's a good stock. If I was going to buy one of these two, it would be Datadog. And I'll be honest, within this space, DevOps, there are a ton of stocks. There's a lot of competition. I really consider Datadog best of breed of what they do. And they're getting more partnerships with Microsoft, and they're really starting to expand outside into other areas like cybersecurity. So I'm really excited about Datadog longer term. Digital transformation and creation. This is kind of an interesting bucket here. So Adobe, it helps with digital transformation. Also creators, like I use Adobe Creative Cloud to make these videos, right? To actually help with Photoshop and with all kinds of different tools they have. And I subscribe to their big package. DocuSign's another one. Of course, you think of digital transformation, e-signatures. I don't think we're going back to fax machines anytime soon. So that's one that I like long as well. Starting to lose my voice. I need to just slow down. It's funny because I talk kind of fast because I'm always like, I want to get the information to you quickly. And a lot of times my watch time is not as good as I want it to be. So I'm like trying to spit the information out as fast as I can. And, maybe that's a mistake. But anyway, moving on. Big data analytics. So when you think of cloud and SaaS, one of the first things that comes to mind is big data and analytics. When you think of all these companies that have disparate systems and data, siloed data, they've got on-prem still, they've got a blend of hybrid. So hybrid where they've got some cloud SaaS, some on-prem. Big data analytics is really important to kind of tie that all together. And it's important for decision makers to have quality information, garbage in, garbage out. You want quality data. So some of these companies like Snowflake, I'm really bullish on. This was a Discord buy, 225 or less. It's now back to that $300 range. It actually went quite a bit higher and pulled back. It pulled back to about $300 this week. It's an expensive stock. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I think it's going to be worth a lot more in 5 or 10 years. And I like the stock. Palantir's another one. Of course, these guys, started more into the defense, government contract type work, and they're expanding more into that commercial space. And I've done several videos on Palantir. It's an exciting company. It does get thrown in that kind of meme stock, bucket. It does have a lot of traders that get excited about it, but it is a legit company and it is going to be worth more with time. This was a Discord buy at $9. It was a direct listing last year, late last year, 2020. I should have bought more shares than I did, but I'm very happy with the shares that I do own. And this thing actually is coming back closer to 20. I think every time it comes down in that range, in that low 20s, it seems to bounce. So it's probably an opportunity to, this could be a stock where you could have a swinger's dream, like a Roku, a Peloton. Those have been, over the last year, they've been swinger's dreams. They run up, they sell off, they run up, they sell off. Palantir's kind of got that same yo-yo effect. Maybe something to look at. I personally am holding it long. Unless it goes under 20, I probably won't add any shares. MongoDB I've got in here. You think of, it's an interesting company. I bought this around the IPO 2018, and it's not a huge position, but I am up, I think, several 100% on it. And I think it's one of those companies that a lot of people just don't understand, don't talk about. I don't think I've ever talked about it on YouTube, but I have covered it in Discord, Patreon. Elastic, part of Phaser. This is one that I get excited about, MongoDB and Elastic, just because they're kind of off the beaten path. They're not talked about a lot. And they're those stocks that you look back in 5 or 10 years that are up, they're multi-baggers and people are like, well, what's this stock? It's just one of those stocks, both of these stocks are just stocks that they continue to do well, but they don't really get much respect. And a lot of people just don't talk about them and don't trade them, don't buy them. So that's the cloud, big data analytics. Now manufacturing, PLM, so project lifecycle management and construction. This is kind of its own weird little bucket, but it'll make sense. So Viva Systems is focused more on that life sciences, project lifecycle management, taking like biotech companies when they have to go through their trials, the different phases, and helping them get from start to finish. So these guys are really known in that biotech life sciences area. Peter Gassner's the CEO. He's a former Oracle guy. Got a lot of respect for him. And that stock's done really well, and I've owned it for a little while. Autodesk is kind of like Adobe, where Adobe went through this rough period where they're going from, you used to have to get CDs, install the CDs, and it wasn't a recurring revenue or a SaaS revenue model. And Autodesk is really switching from that legacy on-prem type solution more to that software as a service solution. And you think of their AutoCAD solutions, they also have a product called Maya, which is what they use to make Frozen 2. I think this is a stock that will do well longer term, but it has to go through these growing pains as it figures out their whole, cloud and ARR model. And you see a lot of companies that go through that struggle. But I think it'll be like Adobe, where you look back in a few years and it's going to be worth a lot more. Streaming and ads. Now this is, if you watch the second video, that's going to be a Patreon only exclusive. The Trade Desk won't be part of Cloud SaaS. Streaming and ads has its own bucket, and there's other stocks in here. But this one is technically kind of a tweener, and I include it in SaaS. So I'm putting it in here to include it in the total dollar amount. And then ETF, I brought WCLD to YouTube, and I do own some of that. So I wanted to include it for my dollar amount. So my total SaaS, you guys have any idea? What do you think? How much money do you think I have in those 30 positions? So that I've got about I had about 1.7 million in the portfolio, but we've had a pretty nasty, not nasty, but we've had a 5% or so pullback. And so I've come down, $80,000 roughly from my high. And so out of that 1.6 roughly million, how much do you think is in SaaS? So the total SaaS number is $448,109. Now, some people will look at that and say, I would think it'd be more, but that's still a pretty big number. I'll show you the percentage here in 1 second. So the grand total of my portfolio is $1,605,978 at the time of this recording. Now I'm recording this on September 30th, and you're watching this a couple of days later. So tomorrow is Friday, October 1st. and maybe I'll get a pop, maybe it'll go lower. But my grand total before this kind of sell off was about 1.7 million. And I've pulled back about $80,000-$90,000 roughly in that range. So what's the percentage? So the percentage in SaaS, that's 27.9%. So 27.9% of my $1.6 million portfolio is in cloud and SaaS. And I broke down those different buckets to show you why I own them. Because I own something like an Adobe for different reasons than why I own, Salesforce CRM and so on. So do you want to see more? Want to see the rest? Patreon.com/firedupwealth, or you can just Google Patreon Fired Up Wealth. You need to join the elite or VIP only. I'm going to release a video literally seconds after this video gets done recording. So if you're watching this right now, you can head to Fired Up Wealth Patreon. You need that $50 a month tier or higher. There's another tier that has masterclass. So there's actually 5 tiers. It only shows 3. You have to scroll down. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. I'll do a screen share and show you exactly what I'm talking about. I want to show you this really quick before I do. So if you don't know my background, I'm a contributor for The Motley Fool. I've got a master's of business administration. I used to sell cloud SaaS for about 10 years. I worked for Oracle and other vendors, and I worked with a lot of these partners. As a partner, I worked with a lot of these companies that I talk about. And I actually resigned last November. I was making $150,000 base salary plus commission, decided to do this full time. So this video that I'm making right now on YouTube, completely free. The ads you get are very, very minimal. One way you can help me is by clicking like, dropping me a comment, share the video with friends. And if you really want to support the community and help us take it to the next level, the answer is Patreon. And now you don't need to do that. I create free YouTube videos every single Tuesday and Thursday at no cost. Now I just gave you this video that breaks down 30 of my favorite stocks and gave you my dollar amounts, was very transparent. If you want the total thing, if you want the whole portfolio, I'm going to release the whole portfolio video. You need this Elite Plus tier or higher. So I want to explain what these are. So first of all, if you come in here, if you're on a phone, a lot of people have problems because they don't see all this information. You have to click this show more, and it'll actually break it down granular and show you every single benefit you get. So go on the site and read through it, read all the benefits, decide which tier is best for you, and make a decision that way, okay? But if you want to see the whole portfolio and break down all the different buckets, so I'm going to have something like DGI. I'm going to have something like consumer growth. I'm going to have something like legalized bets. I'm going to have, cashless and fintech. I'm going to have all these different secular growth trends, these megatrends broken down into buckets, just like I just did for you for cloud SaaS. And I'm going to give you dollar amounts and all that stuff. So you can see I expanded Elite Plus 2.0. So you need to be in this tier or higher to get this next video, okay? This shows you what you get. So you get a ton of different elite Discord channels. There's tons of information. There's 40 plus channels. A lot of people say, well, it's too much information. If you go to a luxury buffet in Vegas and you pay $50 for all you can eat crab legs and steak, you're not going to be mad because you didn't get to eat every single thing on the buffet. And this is the same way. I'm going to give you more information than you're probably going to be able to consume. Don't look at it like you're not getting your money's worth if you don't read every single drop of information. Some people read every single thing that's posted. Others don't have time. You have to pick and choose what's important to you. You can actually mute channels in Discord. You can just use Patreon. There's a lot of different things you can do to maximize your time. And I do have an acclamation video when you join that shows you exactly how to maximize your ROI, your return on investment with Fired Up Wealth. I'm going to give you Elite Plus live stream. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, we do a live stream that's just on Discord, Patreon. Wednesday's chart day, technical analysis. Monday and Friday, it varies, but usually it's just market news. I might go through an earnings report, whatever the community really wants. And we always kind of change it up and make it interesting. And we also have a trade floor for elite members that shows what all the other team members are buying. This community is not just about Eric. It's about hundreds of really smart investors, all sharing ideas and knowledge to become better investors. And we're all long-term investors trying to beat the market, retire early, and enjoy life. And that's really what it's all about. So check out these tiers. There's another tier that's a masterclass tier that it's the exact same thing as the Elite Plus 2.0, but it includes masterclass. There's also a VIP tier. And that VIP tier, you get one-on-one phone mentoring calls with me, like coaching calls every single month, 60 minutes, video calls. And some people really like that as well. But pick which one is best for you. Even the $10 one helps support the channel and the community a lot. Please stick around for 1 second. I want to end by thanking first you for watching this video, especially to the end. If you like the video, drop a like, drop a comment. I want to thank all the patrons that helped make this happen. You know, I'm not in this for money, but at the same time, I put in 50, 60 hours a week. I worked my whole life as well, and it's really hard to have time to do all this due diligence. I'm trying to bring that due diligence that I do for my own portfolio and share that with you guys. And so if you want to be part of the community and take your game to another level, you know, join the Fired Up Wealth Patreon Discord community. That masterclass tier, guys, it's everything I've learned over 20 plus years of investing. Been investing over 20 years. I've got a master's in business administration. I manage my own multi-million-dollar portfolio. I'm a contractor with the Motley Fool. I'm very qualified to be talking about stocks on YouTube, okay? There's a lot of channels that maybe aren't, right? And I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice, but I certainly can share a lot of great information to help you save time on your journey, save some of that time and that due diligence, and give you ideas that you might not have known about before that you can explore on your own. So I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the YouTube community, especially the Patreons as well, to help support the ability to do this as my full-time job. It's my passion. It's what I love. And I appreciate your time and attention as always. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.